妄想世界にレッツダイブや。
店長さんたちはライブの作法を心得てるのね。千夏のリズムによかったら私のボイストレーニングに千夏と参加してみない？
セシリアさんって妄想エンジェルのボイ
いつでも大歓迎よ。もう一人の店長さん、千夏の曲は。
僕は音楽に明るいわけではないけれど、とてもいい。
おおきに。そんな謙遜戦でもええと思うで。
本当かい？
いいよ千夏ちゃん。チケットを売り込む時もそのくらい言ってくれたら。
ちゃかさんといてやゆう。うちは本気で言ってんねんから。
そうだよゆうちゃん、千夏ちゃん。
はいはい、みんな
千夏ちゃん、ライブの準備に実はさ、僕が個人的に買った
なんや、つまり
そう、
ユウの口座に50万が増えるだけ。ラッキー自慢ならよそでやってやゆう。うちらは今エンジェルス。
そうだよ、その千夏ってば真面目なんだね。大丈夫大丈夫。でも私ね、さっき願いの妖精に願いの妖精、アリアの話、フォローに入れなんて言ってくるようならおとぎば
しよかて。こうしようよ。私が依頼に出かけてる間、私だけ依頼が終わってから準備してたらどし。
アリアちゃん、たまたま50万ディにぴったしの依頼が舞い込んできちゃ。
ちょっと待って。割とアリアちゃん、長期兵に行くんやろ。
千夏ちゃんにしては珍しいね。でもこの前あんまり食べると顔が丸くなって
アリアちゃんが丸顔は連れてってくれへんて。丸顔には好きな。
違うよ、千夏ちゃんが自分で。
は
あ、アリアちゃんに振られちゃった。かわいそうな丸顔。ゆうちゃん、別に振ってなんてないもん。
くしゅ。じゃあうち
元からダメなんて言ってないよ。今までだって。でも私たち2人が行っちゃったら
平気よ。
よーし、それじゃあ決まり。千夏ちゃんとアリアちゃんは依頼。チケットの一部は友達にあげる。
明日の予定も決まったし、今日はこのまま練習を。店長さんたちにお願い。
This is kind of weird too. So like, you're a hollowator if you go into hollows and start like trying to, get materials from within the hollows without a license, basically. Because doing it without a license makes whatever you're doing illegal. And so the raiders are the ones who just go into the hollows without a proper license, without proper authorization to, to get the materials within, because a lot of the materials within are very valuable. So, you need a license. And I was thinking, like, how the hell did these two girls get a license? And then realistically, if you think about all the Hollow Raiders we've seen so far, it's like, how the hell do all of them get licenses, really? Like the Cunning Hares, it's like Elisa Cole somewhat like an adult, somewhat, but she's still kind of, like, young. And then, like, Nekomata is super young. And it's just like, yeah, although I guess most of the rest of them are pretty adult. But, I mean, like, Sokaku works for the fucking government, and she looks like she is a child and acts like a child, and it's just like, how the hell do you authorize this type of shit? You think there'd be some sort of, like, you think there'd be some sort of, like, level of, like, no, sorry, you have to be, like, an adult, because you think you'd have to be at least an adult to risk your lives in a hollow, right? They'd be like, well, no, like, as a child, you're not going to be, like, you have to be an adult to make an adult-like decision to risk your life like that. But they're like, nah, fuck it. You're a child? Yeah, sure, you're old enough to... Like, if you're old enough to fight, you're old enough to decide whether you die.
Cecilia 先生、遠慮しなくていいよ。
とはいえ、僕たちが音楽に
2人は本当に謙虚なんだから。それアリアがさっきね、不思議な AI みたいなものらしいのよね。アリアはとても純粋な子だから。けれど最近はライブのこととか、
そういうやつなら音楽よりずっと奇妙な AI ね。
本当に？もし私がごめんなさい。ちょっと願いの妖精の件よろしく。
リン、願いの妖精について妄想エンジェル、僕は帰ってフェアリーと相談するよ。
お兄ちゃんってば。
I see. Okay, so this is probably where they would split normally. So if you had chosen male-wise, this would be... If you'd chosen wise, then presumably this would be when Belle would be like, oh, I'm gonna go home.
アリアはそこにいきなり本人に聞くのもあれ。
平気だって。どうしても緊張しちゃうならお客さんを真似の何言うてんねん。大事な妄想族のみんなを緊張して調子っぱずれな歌をあんま意味ないかもよ。はい、そこの人、妄想エンジェル秘密会議はメンバー限定だ。
ごめんわざとじゃないの。さっきアリアが受けて、あの子ってさ、願いのよ。
なんだ、てっきり店長っていう冗談は多い。アリアちゃんと願いの妖精は僕たちが事務所で練習生をアリアちゃんは困ったことがあると。せやったな。しかも結構頼りになるっていう。特にうちが言うのはなんかちゃうわ。
依頼人のハンドルネームか何
So
か
it seems... Well, I mean, obviously the two of them know that Arya's a robot.
まるで AI
And presumably the Wishing Sprite knows too. And maybe he's the one who convinced her to pretend to be a human to join the band. I'm sure.
相談？自信家のナングーさんが人の話を素直に聞いたんはいつが最後やったっけな。さっきセシリア先生に音程ずれてる。それは確かに大きな問題にぶつかった時。でもアリアちゃんは店長さんさ、セシリア先生になんや、そうなん。まああの二人最近はちょっと最高
でしょ。
とにかくまとめると、願いの妖精は今のまあ音楽の方は正直者のちなね。アリアちゃんに直接聞いてみ。フォローに入る依頼の方は。
そっか。アリアがいない。上の階に行ったのかな。
お客さん、妄想エンジェルにとって
今が大一番。店長さん、何か用だった？大丈夫。たださっきのフォローに入るのってほら。なるほど。実は私たち妄想エンジェルはよくフォローに行くっていうのも、あんまり動画の再生数が伸びないし、アルバムもちょっとしか売れない。それに願いの妖精さんのアドバイスはいつも的確なんだ。そうだ。願いの妖精さんは信じられないなら願いの妖精さん、今ね、新エリートのみんなにもちろん願いの妖精さん、聞いて。とある女の子からね。私、あの子たちと一緒に。ねえねえ、願いの妖精さん、ネットにいっぱい動画を上げたの。つまりお客。でも分かった。もう少し頑張ってみるね。意外。
I mean, it's sound advice.
っていうか、すっごい聞き覚えのある話し方なんですけど。油断しちゃダメだよね。知能構造体を暴走証拠らしい証拠があるわけじゃないから。ね、願いの妖精さんはすっごく頼りに。
I mean, chances are there's like a lot of intelligent. I mean, because the question is like,
少しずつ自分が強くなれてる気がするんだ。
because like there are, like there's a whole system in place to have like, you know, machine intelligence be regarded as humans, right? And so I can't remember if they said intelligent entities are bodiless AIs. Because like this might not be a bodiless AI. It could just actually be just a machine intelligence citizen, you know, that has a body. Because if they only ever communicate like that, then they wouldn't really know. Now my guess is probably that this one's going to go crazy. Like whatever intelligent entity is going out making other ones crazy, I bet it's going to turn her wishing sprite crazy too. So I bet it's going to be a victim.
そうだね。分かってる。この依頼が終わったら黄金の日に。
Although it does beg the question, like all the other stuff was just pretty solid advice, right? It was like, hey, you know, I want to sing, so sing. It's like, okay, but I might need to do more than sing. Okay, then do more than sing. You know, pretty basic shit. So it is kind of weird that it's like, oh yeah, by the way, here's a $500,000 commission. Like, everything else is just purely advice. Anyone can give advice. But, like, where did they come up with 500,000, you know? Are we going to meet that Cecilia girl who Ash is going to be like, yes, this is my teacher. The famous person you thought was the famous person you thought was that famous singer actually is, and is Astra's teacher. Yeah, okay, I was right.
そうだよ。アストラさんとは超仲良しなの。 なんならそうずーっと昔からの付き合いね。もうリンみたいな今時っ子でも歌姫セルシーのやっぱりそうだったんだ。最近インターノットで電撃復帰の噂が流れて。
私
大丈夫よセシン。ここにいる不思議な店長さんはね、去年の黄金の日だって私がコンサートを無事に終えられたのもリンたちの
Oh, that was a Guilty Karate. Did they even mention it was Guilty Karate? Because I remember the concert and like the floating. I think we were on a floating ship, either that or at the top of a really tall tower. I didn't know if they had explicitly said it was Guilty Karate on that day though, or during that patch.
もしかしたらあなたの心のわだかまりを
心のわだかまりなんて大層なものじゃない。引退した理由は単純よ。フォローによって被災したトラウマがいつまでも言えなくて、そんなことが聞きたかったわ。
そうだった。
ええ。そんな中、確かに発端はフォロー災害。
Yeah, I assumed that as much. I assumed that. Actually, I thought that maybe Arya was always the singer. Because they mentioned, because the way they alluded, it made it seem like Arya did her singing, so I didn't know if she was just always the front man of a singing thing. So it could be that they just found a singing bot, i.e. Arya, and then they're like, okay, well she has the voice, so we need someone who act as the face, and they got Cecilia. But it seems like no, she was a singer in her own right, and then just had Arya help out during the last few performances.
今の新エリートがステージから逃げ出した歌姫を必要としていると思って。
自分を責める前にその子に許しても、これじゃあ今回も手ぶらで帰るしかない。
残念だけど。
彼女、もしあなたに断られたら。
I mean, even if she did use a voice double, it's like, I mean, I get it, right? She definitely has a lot of baggage. It's like, so not only was she scarred before, but now she used the voice double, and so now she's going to be doubtful because it's like, oh shit, because like she's obviously going to be like incredibly, oh my god, did someone find out? Did someone realize I used a voice double? And then if she does start singing again, it's obviously naturally going to bring comparisons back to her previous singing. So if she sings again now, even if she got away with using a voice double before, it could be found out after she starts singing if it's too different than what it was before. They might think, oh my god, so they might find out she was using a voice double back then. And obviously that's gonna look bad, because like, there's been ton of performers who kind of get insulted if they just like lip sync during concerts. Because the idea is that, well, no, during a concert you should be singing and dancing, you know. Like, you know, you should actually be singing. Like, we're showing up there to listen to you sing. You just playing your own music and lip syncing it as you dance. It's like, well, that's kind of half-assed. I mean, I do get that. Like, there are definitely dances where it's like, well, shit. Like, you're just going to be too active to properly sing. But that's the whole point, right? That's the idea. Is like, well, yeah, but it's a live performance. Like, you should be actually singing in your live performances. Like, I think people would much rather you dance less so that you could sing more. I think pretty much everyone would agree with that. It's like, they're here to listen to you sing, not here to listen to you play your own music. But yeah, so basically my point is that she could, so she's like obviously worried, oh, can she sing still? Because of the hollow thing. And then even if she does, oh no, like she might get fined out for doing that. So she has a lot of baggage to work through.
それ自体は別に普通の成り行きだと思うけど、主催者としては知能構造体市民暴走事件ってやつだね。犯人はそうなの？
Yeah, so it seems like intelligent construct of the actual like AI with bodies. Intelligent entity is just an AI that is without a body, kind of like fairy.
とはいえ、被害者はもうみんな回復しているみたいだし、治安局も
Oh, they recovered. Interesting. So it doesn't like permanently screw them up. It just. So it's kind of like they just hack into you and are able to get you to do something crazy. And then when they're no longer controlling you, you're back to normal. Well, that's fine then, I guess. Obviously, victims are bad, but you're not, like, permanently screwing them over. The intelligent construct. Although, obviously, it's going to really mess them up. Getting that reputation of going crazy.
私のお友達が主催側としてどんなトラブルも想定しておきたいのは分かってる。とはいえ主催者側は、ええ、あの子の歌手としての実力は確かだもの。それにトップスの芸能部門が要する優秀なタレントでもあるわ。まあとにかくあなたがもうこんな時間ね。リンのお家はこの通りだけど。待って、店長さん。この数年で私は声も姿もすっかり変わってしまったけれど、やっぱりアリアはただどうしても。
分かったよ、セシリア先生。そうそう、願いの妖精のことだけど、アリアとのやりとりを。
ありがとう、リン。
Wait, I don't get that. Arya would tell her, not Arya. Silly would tell Arya about what though? Like, oh, did Arya act as her voice double without her actually knowing who she was? Was it just done purely over the internet? So it was just like, oh, I hired her over the internet. She sang for me, and maybe they never actually saw each other. So Arya doesn't know that was Cecilia. Is that what it was? I didn't quite get that. Like, I knew she was the singing double. I just assumed that she was aware who Cecilia was, but maybe not, I guess. Maybe she just did that anonymously as a part of a commission, and then never actually saw her. Because, like, obviously she doesn't need to, right? She just would go into a booth and sing. She never actually needed. Well, presumably she would. Wouldn't you she had made the connection though? Like, if she ever heard her song, if she ever was like, hey, wait a minute, Cecilia's song, that's my voice. Like, wouldn't she, presumably she would be able to instantly recognize her own voice.
私を置いていそいそと帰っちゃったの。まあいいや、願いの妖精のことだけど。
アストラさんに？そういうことだったのか。一方でどこぞの AI や
フェアリー
？Oh, I thought she was confirming that it was her. I thought Fairy was admitting that they were the one who actually did these things.
なんであれ、願いの妖精がそうだと仮定して、フェアリー。
Yeah, I thought they were like. I thought we were saying, "Oh, it sounds suspiciously like Fairy," and Fairy was like, "Yeah, that was me. I did that. I was just trying to help some people out while I was bored on the internet. You know." I thought that's what she was confirming, but she's just like, "No, it's just it's someone like Fairy." And then presumably not Fairy, otherwise she would have admitted it was her.
これは反論の余地もない立派な宣言だ。
しょっぱなフェアリーに。でもまあマスターと
リンがそう言うなら、それにしてもこのところ急に AI 絡みで、まあ各々の関係についてはジェーンさんの話。
あ、ひょっとしてフェアリー今日は
あら、最高ランクのお得意様を締め出すのかしら。はーい、店長。大まかな状況は電話で伝えた通りよ。依頼人が2人に引き。
今さらびっくりする人なんて。
Why was she coming from upstairs?
え、
シアちゃん。
I mean, I think it's a little dumb to be like, wait a minute, but if she's a snake, then why should she be afraid of Jane, who's a... Well, yeah, like yes, if you're talking about what animal they're based off of, sure, but like when you actually see them, they're two fully grown adult women. In fact, Jane is I think even bigger. And so like when you have two women who are basically the same size, does it really matter what Thyran they are? It's like, no, like it wouldn't fucking matter. Because it's not like, it's not like your Thyran, what Thyran you are determines like your behavior pattern. It would be one thing if it was like, because that could be an interesting thing where it's like, rat or mouse Thyran are more prone to being skittish or nervous and stuff like that, or timid, so predator Thyrans are more aggressive and prey Thyrans are more passive. Like, it would be interesting if there was a pattern like that, but even still, because like we're intelligent, even if that is true, even if in this world prey Thyran, animals that are typically prey, if they're more passive, if they more often have a passive personality, just the fact that we're intelligent beings will mean there are going to be outliers, right? That there are going to be, mouse or rat Thyrans that are going to be the aggressive type. So it's weird to make assumptions like that.
これがパエトン・ジェーン・ドゥは無事私の不出来な部下と市内において知能構造体市民の暴走に伴う傷害事件が発生。そして数日前、知能構造体の治安官までもがウイルスによる身体制御の剥奪を受け、奇妙なメッセージを発信した。
It's interesting though, because like Astriao's concert was also had like a terrorist threat show up and like try to crash the building. So what is it about Gilded Carrot Day that gets everyone to fucking commit terrorist acts?
これまで暴走した市民たちに知能構造体である。だが我々の調べでは制御を失った市民たち。
なるほど。それなら同一犯っていうのも納得できるかも。で、
犯人のパーソナリティという面で見ればいささか古典的だ。だがその能力、そしてここからが本題だ。紆余曲折の英比地区の特殊な状況を鑑み、我々はラマニアンフォローとコード。
一区切りついたんなら言わせてもらうけど、っていうかまたラマニアンフォロー？こうも偶然が重なっちゃう。
その通りだ。
That's the tough thing too, is that like, sure, the Wishing Sprite seems like a nice entity, but as we've clearly seen by what they've said, it's like, yeah, it's basically this intelligent entity just hacks into them, gets them to perform an action or two, and then fucks off. So it wouldn't make anything suspicious, because like obviously the Wishing Sprite could have been hacked just to give this commission, and that's it, right? And then was released. So you wouldn't know, because then you couldn't use their previous behavior as any sort of like metric of how good or bad a person they are, because their previous behavior was true, and it's just one or two actions that were being controlled by another entity. It definitely makes it hard to find something like this, because like, especially for this, because obviously like a bodiless entity, it's like, well, crap, like you have to like monitor their internet, and it'd be really hard to find and catch someone before it becomes a problem, because you don't know how to find them, and you're only finding them after the fact and trying to get clues that way. And the fact is, they hacked into a police bot. They hacked into a police bot to deliver a threatening message. It's like they are a pretty good hacker. And if you hack into a police bot and you still can't find clues based on that, like, you would think police bots would, would be more monitored. And so, like, you would have the most information from that hacking attempt than any other one. Because trying to find, like, a random citizen, like, you can't prove what a random citizen is doing, but you might be tracking a police bot at all times. You know, they might have a GPS tracker on them active at all times for their duty. So you would know where they've been and what they've been doing. And if you still aren't able to find anything based on that, then I can't imagine just random civilians getting hacked and going crazy would yield anything additional. Unless you got lucky.
どこって。
違くて、足が気になってんな。二人しか。ひょっとして監視。この人、本当に例の事件の担当。
捜査官さん、さっきからずっとうちをいい
今回の大取り物というわけで、はい、捜査官が寝不足で星を逃がしたりしたらもうちに泊まってくの？
とはいえ明け渡せと言われてもな。
ぶっちゃけるとあしてばやっとの思いで定職につけたと思ったらめっちゃ高値だ。もし君らじゃなくてお二方みたいに。
わかったから。
最初の異性はどうしちゃったの？私はお兄ちゃんの部屋を借りるから。
わかった。僕は。
そんな。
I mean, we're both girls. Why can't we just sleep together?
じゃあこれで2階に上がったそれじゃあ言う。
Ah, shit. I didn't mean to actually start this. I just assumed we were going to chat and then they'd be like, hey, go over yourself. So that I could maybe spend my stamina. I didn't think they would actually force me over here. I mean, and that's the thing, if I had known, if they had been like, hey, if I had known, I would have just been like, oh, okay, well, I'll ignore this for now. Make sure I do my stamina shit, my dailies, and then come back and continue.
普段もまあまあ。プロキシ君はそうなの？別にシーシアさんを見て治安局だってわかる人いないと思うけどな。
Wait, barely. She's literally wearing a PubSec chest. Like, you can see Neps on her fucking chest. Like, right next to the snake head. The snake head is obviously going to draw people's eyes, amongst other things. So you're going to see Neps right on her fucking chest. Like, identifying her as PubSec. Now, maybe there are people who wear shit like that with Neps on it without being actually public security, but still, I feel like people worried.
いやいや、だって宮妻とかいう激ヤバ物質がボーセルメックスに正体、音楽さんに参照。はいはい。じゃあ腕利き欲しいな。夕方に長期編。Is she the helpful sprite? It's like, obviously, my guess is that the operative is going to be Arya, right? Which is like, did she post? So is she the wishing sprite, or did she post a 500,000 commission, and the wishing sprite found it and then passed it on to Arya? Okay, cool. There we go. So I have a moment.
まさかまた始まりの主が絡んでるんじゃ。
Yeah, luckily I don't think this place has... I don't think this place has... proximity-based quests. I think pretty much every quest in this game has to be manually triggered, which I prefer. I'd much rather have to select... I'd much rather have to interact with the NPC to start a quest than to have it accidentally start when I don't want it to. So, like, the extra hassle of having to, like, manually trigger a quest pales in comparison to the annoyance of starting a quest that you didn't intend, that you might not have even been aware was at that location as you were just traveling through, like, the town. You're like, oh, I'm going to go from here to here. I need to go do something over there. And it's like, oh, whoops, actually, we just started a quest, or one of the quests of this game happens to be in this area. And so now you just automatically started this quest you didn't intend, because fuck you, that's why. Like, it's proximity-based, you weren't tracking it, so you didn't even know it was there. We just, because that's the thing, is whether you're tracking it or not, like Genshin, we'll just have the quest NPCs appear. So it's like, oh, okay, here, the quest started, okay, well, the quest started, so the NPCs are going to be here, here's the AoE of what will trigger their quest, and if you had tracked the quest, then that's fine, you know? If you had tracked the quest, you'll see the AoE the entire time, so it's not a huge issue. You'll see, oh, there it is, now I can avoid them, right? But the problem is that AoE is still proximity-based, regardless of whether you're tracking the quest or not, and if you're not tracking the quest, you do not see it at all. Basically, on the map, and on the minimap, you only see the quests. You only see the quest marker for a quest that you've actually tracking. So every other quest is invisible. Which is what's really fucking annoying about the... Which just makes it really annoying dealing with the shit. Because you'll just start quests that you didn't mean to start. So like, it'd be one thing if they're like, okay, you know what, fuck it. You have these quests, we're just going to put a marker on the map for every single one that you have accepted. I understand like why that would have a lot of clutter, but you could just, you know, introduce a setting to get around that. You could be like, oh, actually, you know, that would just be too annoying, so what we're going to do is we're going to have a setting where you can disable that, right? Like, it would be a 3-tier setting. It's 1, show the marker for every quest you've accepted. Setting 2, show the tracked quest marker, and setting 3, show no markers. You know? setting 3 is just like, yeah, don't show anything, even if I'm tracking it. Although realistically, no one's going to want that, but like, it's fine to have it. See, I have to talk to those people, but even though I walk right by them, it doesn't automatically start. And that's what I want. I don't want quests to automatically trigger, because you're taking the agency out of players' hands. It's like, what if they didn't want to do this? What if they only came here because they wanted to do a daily or do something, and now you just automatically start your shit, and now they're doing something they didn't want to do? It's like, does it kill you to fucking make? Does it kill you to make characters just fucking talk to the NPC? Because like talking to them, and I think even if I didn't track them, I think even if I decided to track this as an example, it still appears. So even though I'm tracking another quest, I'm tracking the green quest now, and you can see on the minimap it's saying, hey, go that way. You can still see the marker over the character for their quest. Like, that's what Genshin should do. Genshin should just be like, oh, you know what? We're not going to make proximity-based quests anymore. You're going to have to interact with the NPC. We're going to put a marker over every NPC that has a fucking quest. And, like, to be fair, for World Quest, they do have a marker above their head before you've accepted it. So, before you've accepted the quest, they do have a little World Quest marker above their head to indicate they have a quest. But once you've accepted the quest, it's like all the other quest things, where it's like, yeah, the only way to figure out where they are and who it is and what you need to do is to actually track that specific quest. You'll never come across, like, you can come across them and you can interact with them and continue the quest, but you have to know who they are and where they are, so that, because like, there's no way you'd be able to find them without tracking them, So to a degree, obviously, if you're already in the area and you're like, hey, it's that guy, I remember that guy, and you talk to him, it's like, oh, they're going to continue the quest, because that's just where the continuation was. But like, there's no marker above his head indicating, oh yeah, this is the continuation of the quest you accepted, which is dumb. It's like, you should stop making proximity-based ones, for one. You should put little markers above their head so the people know that these people, are, to warn people, hey, by the way, if you talk, like, this guy's a quest marker above his head, don't talk to them if you don't want to start this quest, right? And then talking to them is just the implicit confirmation that you want to deal with this quest. The Genshin doesn't indicate which NPCs are quest NPCs. You have to actually track the quest to know, and even then, it'll still start quests automatically if you just happen to walk by them sometimes. There's a few ones where you actually do have to interact with them, but like, most of the time, over 50% of the time, it's just like, yeah, once you get close to the NPC for this quest, it just automatically starts a cutscene. And you're just like, come on, man, like, you could just wait for me to interact with them. What if I didn't want to start this quest? It's just like, there's no positive to doing this other than, oh, well, we saved you a button press. We saved you a button press. It's like, yeah, but you saved me a button press, but you also could have fucked me over, and I could have been in the middle of doing something else. So it's not worth saving me a single button press for the potential of just fucking over what I was doing before. Because I have gotten fucked over out of doing what I was doing before. There was a quest where it was like, hey, you have to talk to Anefa in the new Nod Prior region. But I wasn't focusing on that. Like, I automatically triggered it when I was in town, which I didn't mean to. But then they were like, oh, okay, well, it's now the next continuation was in Crumbcake Factory, but I wasn't even focusing on that. I went out and I was starting to explore, and I was south of the Crumbcake Factory, and there was this racing quest where it's like, oh, okay, you start this time trial, where then you had to hop on one of the Kuvaki lanes, or Kuvaki lanes, and you had to collect a certain number of little light orbs along this racetrack. And once you did, a chest would appear. Well, it just so happens that racetrack went right through one of the quests. And so while I'm on this racetrack, it brought me through the area where the quest was, and because it was a proximity-based quest thing, it failed the time trial because I got sucked into the cutscene. It's like, oh, well, you got sucked into the cutscene and you instantly fail. Now I had to run all the way back to where the time trial started to restart it to continue. All because they're like, you know what? Fuck you. You happen to pass by an area we've now locked down to do this quest. Did you know the quest was there? No, had no fucking clue. And also, like, I wouldn't even be known that that's where the time trial would have gone through either, too, because like you don't see on the minimap where the time trial is going to be, where the track is going to be. So it's just like, even if I knew that was the correct location, even if they kept it on the minimap, I wouldn't have known, because the racetrack was like so big. Like, I was in the southeast corner or southwest corner outside of the Crumb Cake factory, and it went through Crumb Cake into the northeastern part where the quest was. So it's just like, come on, man. Like, it's just so fucking frustrating to deal with this. Like, I was clearly in the middle of doing something else, and you fucked me over like that. It's just like, it's like so meaningless. It's like, yeah, sure, we saved you one button press, and we fuck over 100 people, right? Really, is it worth saving one button press to fuck over so many people? Like, it's just a bad mentality to have, because you're just, because like this is just one quest, right? And if you keep having the mentality of, oh, let's just keep doing proximity-based quests, you're gonna fuck over. You're fucking over people every single time. There's always going to be people you're gonna fuck over every time you have a proximity-based quest because of this shit. You know, who accidentally start this quest that they maybe didn't want to do, and it's like all because you just had to make it proximity triggered.
ほど。
お弟子ちゃん、パパッと。
何？黄金の日まで。
もしかして師匠の目
I
に
must, like, couldn't she help us?
当日にな
If you really want us to make the thing, couldn't you just help us clear this super quick, and then then we'll have tons of time.
何か変なこと起きて。
別に。
あ、即答。
はーい。お弟子ちゃんの
実はね、私たち届け出のされてない治安局曰く典型的な愉快犯っぽいから。
返答式を、それは許せませんね。でもお弟子ちゃん、
お師さんが即答したのもそういうことだ。
そういうことなら帰省してない知り合いとかに聞いてもらえないかな。
私は心当たりないですね。少なくともジエさんやフー君、万学先生はいつも通りでしたよ。黄金の日が近づくと永比地区のみんなは
それやす
だな。お前さんがどうしても。
それにしてもいい。
あ、そういえば。
いや別に大したことじゃないかもしらんが。
パンさん、それ結構怪しいかも。ああ、
途中で電源落としちゃった。
途中？
私、2人のパソコンに猛虎福魔伝のディレクターズカットを落としたくて。でもいつも。
おいおい、それじゃあ風姉の。はい、
帰ってきたらパソコンの電源が勝手に落ちてたって言おうとしたんです。
まったく心配するなリン。そいつが誰だか知る。
そうですよ、そうですよ。サイカ。
そうだよね。で、じゃあ私。
ああ、六分街へ戻る前にちゃん持って帰ってお弟子くんに。
それにさっきもうシンシアさんとそろそろ時間だね。シンシアさんとロープウェイ。
Okay, well this clearly seemed like it's going to start the combat event. Seems like it's gonna go into the hollow, so I'm gonna go ahead and call it here, because it's already been it's almost an hour, not full hour, but there's also nothing else for me to do that I can do to kill time without accidentally triggering something. I either have to start the new event, I either have to start this one, but generally it's best to kind of wait for, because this is obviously revolving the three of them, and it's like, well, shit, because it could be operating under the assumption, oh, you've done the main story, and so it's like, oh, they've already resolved their issues and might even reference it, so it's like, it's usually best to wait until you've done the main story before you do any of the events. That's why I'm focusing on the main story of this game rather than wrapping up Genshin. I have 2 weeks to do Genshin. I want to get this main story done so that I can start working on the event as well as the Genshin one. Although realistically, the Genshin event should take me like a day. Like it should be taking me just a little bit of time because it's just wrapping up the epilogue quest and then just doing all the little mini games. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and call it. But thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all next time.